Hello, welcome to the What to Expect Training Series 2020, making the death certificate process easier. And today, the training is for funeral home directors and arrangers. Today's agenda, we will be talking about system basics, work queues, deciding whether the certificate needs to be assigned to a physician or coroner, a step-by-step navigation, creating a note and uploading documents, overrides and legal timelines, and what to expect brochure. For system access, we're going to go over some basic requirements in order for the system to run properly. The EDRS will only operate on a PC. Currently at this time, it will not operate on a Mac or a tablet. The only browser that will work with the EDRS is Internet Explorer, not Mac, Chrome, Firefox, or Microsoft Edge. Please note, Internet Explorer and Microsoft Edge look very similar. On the next slide, I will show you how to differentiate between the two. When installing the EDRS on your work machine, please note that you might not have administrative rights to make changes, so please contact your IT department in order to assist with completing the installation. For your personal machine, it only takes 3 simple steps to install the EDRS onto your PC. Step 1. Add the website to your compatibility view settings. Step 2. Add the website to the trusted sites. And lastly, step 3. Download and run the prerequisites. You will see this on the bottom of the login page. So in order to determine the difference between Internet Explorer and Microsoft Edge, simply open the browser and look in the top right-hand corner next to the red X. If you see a small gear, as shown here, you are in the correct browser, which is Internet Explorer. If you see anything other than a gear, you are in the wrong browser, so please close that browser and make sure to open Internet Explorer. If you forget your password, please email overhelp@health.nv.gov to reset your password. Please email us using the address that you initially signed up with your account. This is how we authenticate you. Once your password has been reset, you'll receive an email with your username, the temporary password, our website address, and installation instructions. This is the EDRS home screen. Please note that we do utilize the message of the day. Messages can be anything from planned system maintenance all the way down to simple updates within the Office of Vital Records. So every time you log in, please look over the message of the day to make sure you're getting all of the up-to-date information. Here's a brief summary of your work queues. In the next screen, I will go over them a little bit further in detail. The first work queue is burial permit pending. These are records awaiting the burial permit approval process. The burial permit ready is when the burial permit is ready to be printed. Pending investigations are all records that have a pending investigation status. Personal in progress are all records that have been assigned to you and have not yet been completed. Ready to sign are records not signed by the funeral director. Reject/reassign are records that are rejected to the funeral home. Waiting on MC. This is waiting for a certifier to complete the medical portion of the record and to sign. The last work queue is unassigned certifier. This is a physician, coroner, or medical examiner that has not yet been assigned to complete the medical portion of the record. When you're creating a new record, please click File, New Event, Death. This slide goes over the Required to Start tab. This tab is currently in beta and is not in our production environment. We are looking to create a single space for all the funeral homes to put in the necessary information to start the record. For example, you would enter the 5 necessary pieces of information, such as the name of the decedent, the county of death, and the date of death. In this tab, you will have the option to enter a pickup date when you pick up the body if it is needed. And then lastly, please enter the date of birth of the decedent if known. When creating a record You will start on the Decedent tab, and please make sure to enter all fields highlighted in red, such as the first name, last name, date of death, and county of death. Please make sure you fill in if this is an approximate date of death, yes or no. At the bottom of the Decedent tab, please make sure to enter the city, zip code, and their place of death. Please enter yes or no if there was a hospice care program in place at time of death. Once you know the name, please select from the drop-down the name of the hospital or other facility. If the facility is not listed, please email the overhelp@health.nv.gov in order to have the facility added to the drop-down. Under the Decedent History tab, please enter the gender of your decedent. Next, select all applicable races. Please note, if you do select other and type in a description, please make sure that you verify that they're not already on the list. For example, please do not check other and type Guamanian, as it is directly to the left of it. Also, if you are to select Native American and enter the tribe as a description, the tribe is what will show on the death certificate, not Native American. Under ethnicity, for Hispanic origin, please select yes or no. If selected yes, please make sure to select yes for the correct Hispanic origin that applies. In the middle of the Decedent History tab, please make sure to enter the decedent's date of birth. If you do not know the decedent's date of birth, please enter in all nines. Under birth info, please make sure you enter the correct country and state of birth. Then, please choose from the drop-down the appropriate education completed by the decedent. At the bottom of the Decedent History tab, please make sure to select from the drop-down their marital status at death. If they had a spouse, please enter it here, under first name and last name of the spouse. If you do know the Social Security number, please enter it here. If you do not know the Social Security number of the decedent, please enter all nines. Please note that once a certifier has signed off on the record, a funeral home is no longer able to change the Social Security number. For occupation, please note that there may be different names, such as school teacher and teacher. You will choose the occupation that was held longest by the decedent. If you do not see an occupation listed, please ensure to read through the list in its entirety, and if it is not seen, please email OVRHelp in order for us to add it to the dropdown. For industry, in this example, for a teacher, please select the level for which they taught. Now at the bottom of the Decedent History tab, you will put yes or no if they were ever in the U.S. Armed Forces. Entry and discharge date are not required. Under the Decedent History 2 tab, please select the citizenship of the country. There are dual citizenship options available. Please note, there is no Guam, as Guam is a United States territory. If you do not see the country listed, please note that they may be a territory or you're selecting a continent rather than a country. For the residents, please put the country, state, the county if known, and the city, and their street address. If you do not know the street address, please put 999 unknown. You'll then enter the zip code and yes or no if within city limits. For the parents' information, please put the first and last name of the father. You will receive an exception error if the last name of the decedent and the last name of the father, if he is male, do not match. For female decedents, this does not apply. Enter the mother's name if known. When entering the mother's name, please ensure to use her maiden name. On the bottom of the Decedent History 2 tab, please enter the first and last name of the informant, and please select from the drop-down the appropriate relationship that they had to the decedent. If known, please enter their mailing address. And please enter a phone number and hit yes or no for informant information verified. For disposition, Under this tab, please choose from the drop-down the appropriate method of disposition. And then, from the next drop-down, please select the correct cemetery, crematory, or another location. Once selected, their information will automatically pre-fill. And at the bottom of the Disposition tab, please select the correct funeral director. Their information will also pre-fill. And for example, we will go over what a trade call is. So, you will select yes. A trade call is when an out-of-state funeral home will be handling all services, and the Nevada funeral home is simply prepping the body in order to send it to the out-of-state funeral home. Simply from the drop-down, select Other and fill out all information provided. Now we will discuss physician or coroner when you are deciding who to assign a case. If they died at home with no hospice care, it is a coroner case. If they died at home with hospice care, it is a physician case. If they died of pancreatic cancer, it is a physician case. If they died of the flu and was being treated for heart disease, it is a physician case. If it is a drug overdose, it is a coroner case, and specific drugs must be listed. If they had a fall at home, it is a coroner case. Now, who is the certifier? The law specifically separates this duty between the physician versus the coroner. It comes down to whether the death was attended or not. The NRS determines death attended as the following. The deceased have been examined or treated, was prescribed medications, or provided care by the physician or APRN within 180 days preceding death, or was pronounced dead by a registered nurse or physician assistant, was diagnosed by a physician or APRN as having an anticipated life expectancy of not more than 6 months. The death is considered not attended if the deceased had been under a physician or APRN's care, but the cause of death was unrelated to the physician or APRN's diagnosis and treatment. Then the county coroner or medical examiner must be called in. Lastly, the death is not attended if the decedent passed away at home without hospice care. For the certifier, for this example, we will choose a physician, and you will choose a physician from the drop-down. When you are reviewing the completed medical portion from the certifier, the physician will enter things such as whether it is a pending investigation, death to communicable disease, and they will list the causes of death. Then, at the bottom of the cause of death, they will enter other significant conditions contributing to death. When reviewing the cause of death tab, please ensure that they filled out whether an autopsy was done, did tobacco contribute to death, if they selected from the If Female drop-down, and if the coroner was contacted. Under the Cause of Death Continue tab, the completed medical portion done by the certifier most likely will read natural causes and nothing